Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Meet the Candidates. Today I have with me Ms. Diane Neeley. She is running for County Commissioner in District 4. Diane has lived here all her life. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Diane, and about your family.
Okay, as you said, I've lived here my whole life. I'm truly invested in our community. I have served as a school board member for the last 20 years. And it's something that became near and dear to my heart. And I learned that in public service, I have a heart for that. And I want to make our community better in any way that I can. So here I am. I have been married to my husband for 39 years, and we live in the Will community.
Right.
He's lived there his whole life, and he just brought me down. And it's an area that's embraced us. We've raised 2 children there, Leandra and Spencer, and we're fortunate that our children still live there. One lives on the farm and one just lives around the road. So,
oh wow,
yeah, so it's pretty cool because we're raising our children are there, and we're with our grandchildren. We're helping to raise those. So it's been a good life, and we've been truly blessed.
So we could say that you're a close knit family then. Obviously.
We are extremely close knit.
That's a blessing in itself.
It is.
What led you to the point to where you thought that you needed to run for county commissioner?
Well, like I said, I had been on the school board, and several years ago, I had a number of people ask me, said, why don't you move across? Why don't you serve on the county commission? Why don't you take a look at it? In my heart, I was not finished with, I felt like, my work on the school board side, and it continued to go on. And then 4 years ago, I almost didn't run for school board. I almost moved across. There were some things coming up that I wanted to help work with. And then as those things moved on through these past 4 years, I had people ask me again. And as I looked at what was happening to our county, to our community, in my heart, after praying about it and thinking about it, I knew it was time.
Okay.
That I could maybe bring something to the table.
Okay, well, since you bring that up, what do you bring to the table you feel like as far as a county commissioner goes and being a representative of the folks here?
I truly know what my job is, and that's to serve the people of District 4 and the people of our community.
Okay.
And what that means is for me to be their voice. I need to take a hard look at all the things that we're doing. I spend a great deal of time studying. I study the budgets. I know after serving on the school board, how these budgets come together. There are questions that are raised. I want to preserve the processes that we're supposed to go to make these decisions. I have no problem doing all the training or whatever is asked of me. So, and I play by the rules. And if the state says we do this, that's what I'm going to do. And I just feel like with my private sector life, I've always worked as a administrative assistant, or I've been a bookkeeper, for some very successful people here in town. And so I bring that knowledge to the table. I can look at numbers. I'm a numbers girl.
There you go.
And I like messing with the numbers, and I'll do them forward and I'll do them backward until I can figure out how we got to where we are. And I don't mind asking those questions.
Okay. Well, speaking of numbers, we've had a big number here lately that's been
Yes,
talked
we
about
have.
a lot on social media, and then of course with the people talking around the community about a tax increase that our county commission it's in the process, let's say.
Right.
Give us your take on that. How do you feel about that tax increase? I think it's up to $232 per 100 now.
Okay, I'll be transparent. I always am. I personally didn't care for the process that was used. It's not like someone got up the day of that county commission meeting in June and said, well, I'm going to write this letter and ask for a tax increase today. So I think it should have been vetted through finance, through the budget hearings, and finance should have the opportunity to look at it, and all commissioners should have had an opportunity to ask their questions and to see what was going on and if there were places they could tweak it. Now, I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I'm not against giving raises to employees who need it. I know, just like in the school system, a lot of times we're behind on our pay scales, but then oftentimes we're comparing ourselves to areas that we're never going to compete with.
Right.
And so we're going to have to find a balance as a county of what makes our employees happy,
right,
and what we can afford to do. And I have concerns about how this tax increase was done. I think the commissioners' hearts were in the right place as far as wanting to give those raises. I think it merits more look. And then when it was done and it was just placed in general fund without being slotted or allocated for certain line items, that concerns me. And then when we've made this move and it's slated for raises, that money's not going to come in until, tax cards go
Right.
out in October. That money won't start coming until the end of this year, beginning of 23.
Right.
So if we're going to give raises now, how are we going to fund that if we don't have, some funding in
Right.
the budget? How is that going to play out? Who's going to get what, and how are we going to pay for it? And those were big questions that I had in looking at. I don't have a problem with the highway department getting some. They struggle, and I know they do. Their budget is separate, just like the school budget
Right.
is separate from the county. So a lot of their funding comes from the state, and they don't have a
Right.
lot of control. Then we keep looking at this industrial park. Not too sure yet how I feel about that, but I really think my initial gut take is we're investing a lot of money and we've not seen any return on that investment yet. And I'm ready to see some return on the investment
Yeah.
that we keep putting out there. And, and in this budget, that was asked for.
Right. Yeah.
In this tax increase, more money for that. So I think I
that
need to
total
see it.
was $510,000 in this particular increase. I think
Yeah,
it was
and
total.
it's concerning to me because we don't have that sewer, gas infrastructure and all that needs to be there, and somebody has to pay for that. And I'm afraid, putting it on the backs of taxpayers, and we need to continue to take a real hard look at what we're doing there and where we're going with that.
Okay, after you would look into the numbers and look at the process, as you've talked about, review that and maybe take some time and maybe vet it better, how much of a factor would your constituents' request be as far as, nobody wants a tax increase. I mean, you're going to ask the public, they're going to say, no more tax increase. How would you balance that with making a wise decision?
Well, I think one thing that we're very lacking in is communication.
Yeah.
Communication with the people in the community. There's two things when I ran for school board, and Mike Bone, and we all know Mike Bone and love
Yeah,
Mike Boneisms, and there was two things that he told me. One, he said, Diane, never forget that what people perceive, what they see, is their truth.
Right.
Whether it may be or may not be. And I've always remembered that. So I spend a lot of time with constituents talking to them about why we did what we did. Can I show you in the budget? Let's look at numbers. I will have those conversations
Yeah.
with my constituents. And then, of course, he always said, how are you going to look when you get your picture took? And then he did that sweet little laugh, and he said, no, I don't mean with a camera, Diane. And I understood exactly
Yeah.
what he meant. And so I have to be honest and have integrity and be able to back up anything that I tell people. So, yes, I want to hear from my constituents,
Right.
and I need to know, but sometimes we're going to have to balance what they want as a no tax, what we may need as a county a tax, but find that happy medium where we do the minimum that we can do to place on their backs to
Right.
continue to move us forward. I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and look at you and say, I'll never vote for a tax
Yeah, right,
increase.
right.
I'd be a liar.
Right,
Unless
right.
there's nothing that came up in the next 4 years. But yes, we have to listen to what
Yeah.
our people want. We have to, and I will do that.
Definitely the communication is big.
Yeah.
And I feel like that if you go out and you start talking to people in advance, when you know this is coming, and explain it better
Yes.
and be clear about it, I
Yes.
think this makes this decision a lot easier, and it's not quite as hectic and, well, it just didn't turn out too well, but hopefully we can move past this. All right, I'm going to change gears just a little bit.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about Bedford County?
My favorite thing is the people.
Okay.
I love the people of our county. I do. I don't care who they are. I don't care where they came from. They're all special.
Yeah.
And I love them all.
All right. Okay. On the flip side of that, what is one thing that you would change about Bedford County?
What would I change? Well, there's not a lot I can think of except it circles back to communication.
Right.
How we're running our county. I would change some of those things that we have to have more communication, manage our growth. Of course, we all want more jobs and
Oh,
better
yeah,
paying
yeah,
jobs. We need to figure out if we can a way to do that. But overall, I love our county. I love living here. I've never wanted to be anywhere else than where I am right now.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Thanks a lot for sitting down with us and sharing about yourself and your ideas. And we look forward to moving toward the election. And we've got early voting starting on July 15th.
Yes.
Through the 30th. And then our election is August 4th.
Yes, it is.
So everybody needs to get out and vote. And you're in District 4.
I am in District 4, and I will apologize. I have not been able to get in touch with as many of my constituents as I'd like to. So that I'm always available if they want to reach out to me. I've had some private messages through Facebook from people who don't know me,
Right.
and I welcome that. If you need to get in touch with me, they can just reach out, whatever they need to do. But I would certainly appreciate everyone's consideration and vote in the August 4th general election.
All right. Well, maybe it'll help by getting this video out and letting
hope
people
so.
hear you talk and share your thoughts. Guys, thanks for watching, and look for another edition real soon of Meet the Candidates. Thanks.
Thank you.